Hi everyone, it's Christine again and welcome back to my channel. So as you can see by the title, today is going to be part 2 of my Penn and college Q&A series. If you haven't watched it yet, please make sure to also watch part 1 of the series. In that video, I touched on picking majors, orientation, admissions, as well as housing and dining at Penn. So please make sure to show some support and watch that video as well. However, in this video, I'm going to be answering your questions on the people and communities at Penn, as well as extracurriculars and just life in general. Before I start with a Q&A though, please make sure to click the subscribe button down below. But with that, let's get straight into the video. So the very first question is asked by Rosie, who says, how diverse is UPenn? And I think on the surface, UPenn appears to be an extremely diverse place. So Penn brings in students from all the different continents around the world. And when I came into the international students, new student orientation, I was able to see that. So yes, country-wise, Penn is extremely diverse. However, through actually getting to know people and the way that the university operates, I've realized that it's a little less diverse than everyone says it is. There is a rather homogenous way of thinking. Firstly, touching on the political opinions, Penn is pretty liberal, and so you meet a lot of people who just share very similar beliefs, and I think that's probably common with a lot of private universities, especially with the Ivy Leagues. They bring in people who have relatively higher socioeconomic statuses. They also share similar political beliefs. But at the same time, Penn also brings in Figly students, which means first generation low income students, and so although it is a prestigious school and tuition is a lot, it is also catering to the lower income people and providing them with educational opportunities that they might not have been able to afford had they not received the funding. And then Claudia Hamilton asks, do you meet a lot of elitist or stuck-up people around the school that create a bad vibe? I've heard stories about people having really famous people write their recommendation letters, students who have parents who are top leaders in the business or political field. So yes, there are a lot of elite rich people at Penn. However, from my personal experience, I haven't met any person who is actively just trying to boast about their wealth. I've really enjoyed my time and the people at Penn. And then Mame Sewa Awuha, I'm sorry if I pronounced that incorrectly, says, I heard that Penn is really materialistic and it can be hard to fit in. Is that true? Especially with people who have a lot of money, they're able to afford all of these rich brands. Like when you're walking down Locust Walk, you'll just see people in their Canada Goose. They'll have AirPods in their ear. They're just Gucci, Chanel, everything like that. Sorry, the sun's getting really bright. I didn't own any of these brands. Personally for me, that's not something that I really care about. I just go out and do my own thing. However, for people who might be adjusting to a pretty different environment, for example, I don't want to assume, but some Figly students might just feel that aren't able to fit in with this consumer culture that Penn students are implicitly trying to promote. The next question is asked by Liz, who says whether people at UPenn are friendly or not. So I've had really nice interactions with people during the daytime, but come Friday nights or the weekends where people are going to the frat parties, people can change personalities really easily, particularly if they're under the influence of alcohol or in a group of friends. When I try and get into a frat, there will be people around you just pushing and shoving, trying to get in as well. But then the next day, I will see them around and they're just really friendly to you. So yeah, people will act really differently sometimes. However, that just goes with life in general. Some people act really differently in different situations. That's just something that you have to get used to. It's not just applicable to Penn, it's life too. And then the next question is asked by Emily, who says, is there a physical therapy program? All students at Penn are able to use services at Student Health Services, SHS, and I'm pretty sure that there is a physical therapy program there. There is a physical therapist who is there every single day and is able to give you the services that you need, and if they're unable to help you, they will be able to refer you to an expert or someone else who will. So Brittany asks, how difficult is it to get involved in clubs? I've heard that the whole process is super competitive. Pre-professional clubs, yes. They all have like written applications, interviews. I remember in my first semester I applied to like more than 20 clubs, got rejected from like 18 of them. I didn't take rejections well because I didn't expect to get rejected. In terms of the cultural clubs, for example, like a lot of the cultural societies, they take in everyone who expresses interest. Often you just have to put your name down on a list and then go to the first event. Although there is the competitive side, there are also like really chill clubs as well. As long as you show that you're interested, you're able to get in. And then Sally asks, how do you balance academics, extracurriculars, and social life? In college, you aren't in the classroom that much at all. I've actually found it pretty easy to balance everything. I'm also working and doing all of my clubs along with my academics. During first semester, I only took 4 classes. I had a lot of free time, and that meant that I could go out and do clubs, join the things that I wanted to join, as well as socialize with the people around me. I like to work in groups as well, and so I kind of get the academic side as well as socializing with my friends through group study sessions. And so yeah, it's a lot of fun. Claudia Hamilton asks, how much free time do you have? So in the first semester, I only took 4 classes like I said earlier, and so I had a lot of free time. I was only in class for 15 hours for the entire week, and so I just had a lot of time to do anything else that I wanted. And then going on from that, Janie Chen asks, what do you normally do in your free time, and how often do you go and explore the city? In my free time, usually I make videos for you guys like this. I'll be going to club activities. Often Penn has guest speakers as well and networking events, so I like to go to those. Answering the second part of the question, how often do you go and explore the city? I was in a completely new environment, so I wanted to go and explore, but I think like after 3 or 4 weeks I was like done and I just didn't want to explore anymore. Maybe I was like, oh, academics are so important right now, I just can't do anything else other than study. But come end of my second semester, I really started to enjoy Philadelphia, as well as all of the awesome things that there are to do there, such as like going to new food places, taking advantage of free trials or first time trials. I'm really enjoying Philadelphia now. I will go to the city like at least once a week. And then Boss of Royalty asks, how easy is it to go to the main center Philadelphia and come back to school? And it's really easy. There is public transport in the form of either taking the bus or the subway, and as long as you have a SEPTA card, it's a lot easier for you to go into the city and come back. It only costs you, I think it's like $2.50 for each ride, regardless of which stop that you get off on. There are 3 stops in Penn's campus, and then going into the city, depending on where you need to go, there will be a stop nearby. And then Bailey also asks, what's the most difficult thing about being a student at Penn? So my biggest challenge was facing failure. I'm pretty sure in 1 week I got 10 rejections and I was just like bawling my eyes out. And I think another thing that I found difficult was just finding the right friendship group. I would see pictures and videos of people on their Instagram stories like hanging out with their friends, and I was like, so where are my friends? And looking back, I think I had a pretty cynical view of the people around me, and that was really my fault. After a while, I realized that it was kind of more of a reflection of me, that I wasn't being open and trying to get to know other people. Come second semester, I really tried to just like join more clubs, especially more social ones. I realized that academics and like getting into professional clubs wasn't like the only important thing anymore. So by joining more clubs, I got to know more people and I really enjoyed my time a lot more. And then Amy asks, do you feel like a lot of people get pressured into going the finance or consulting route, even if it's not a career path that they're necessarily interested in? Quick answer is yes, and let me elaborate on that. People coming into Penn, particularly in the Wharton School, get influenced by the people around them as well as the reputation that the school has. There are a lot of people who I've asked, like, hey, like, what do you study? And they're like, I'm in Wharton, I'm not too sure what I want to study yet, but I think I might just do finance because like I'm at Wharton, why not study finance? And to me, that's a pretty like immature way of thinking about it. I don't mean to offend anyone in that way. I just think that people should be thinking for themselves and what they want to achieve, rather than just doing something because the school is good at it. And if it's going to make you a lot of money, sure, that might be one factor that makes you really happy, but money is not the most important thing. Some people will come in like not even knowing what it is, and they'll just say, oh, I want to go into consulting, I want to go into finance because everyone else is doing it. And I think it's really easy to get sucked into this trap of meeting people, particularly at Penn, who want to go into a corporate or professional field. And most people that you meet also want to be consultants or want to go into investment banking because they know that that's where the money is. However, I think it's just so important to think about what makes you happy and what you want to achieve. It's also important to remember what your own passions and your own values are. Think for yourself. So yeah, that was the end of the Q&A series. I hope you guys enjoyed watching both parts of it. I'm pretty sure I answered all of them, but if I didn't, please flick me a message and I'll make sure to answer them for you. And if you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe to this channel, click the red button. It doesn't take you long and it doesn't hurt you at all either. And with that, that is the end of the Q&A series. See you in my next video. Bye!